Warning. Self-destruct sequence activated.
3, 2, 1.
What's going on, Skoop Nation? Phony fan here. Start every video off the same way. Go to scoopsports.com. Scroll down to the bottom. You got 3 little icons: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go be sure to like, share, retweet, comment, message, all that good stuff. Subscribe to our channel. The more stuff you guys view and you look at and all that stuff, that gives us a lot more confidence to put out more product, different kinds of things. Like, for example, we got podcasts going to hopefully start this coming up week. My NFL review, I'm going to try to do it as a podcast, so we'll see how that goes, because videos are pretty difficult to do, and I don't like watching myself talk. I'm sure you guys do, But anyway, jump right into this. This basically once a week. It'll probably be like on a Thursday. I'm going to do a video about the Cowboys. This will be a video, unless I change my mind, of course. But it's going to have to do with the Cowboys, like what happened that previous week, what's going on, my thoughts, how we can fix things, what doesn't need to be fixed, etc. So all my Cowboys fans, got a lot of them out there. Be sure to check them out and just kind of scream with me, okay? Because it's that kind of year. Just scream with me. But we'll jump right in. So Cowboys lost last week to Tennessee Titans. Wasn't even close. Had an article out about Dak. You guys probably read it, about how I think he's part of the main problem. I will say, after having some time to reflect, I would be willing to give Dak more time next year if they brought in a whole new coach, whole new scheme, all that stuff, based more on RPO, stuff like that. Like a lot of the stuff you see, like Wentz and Mahomes and stuff like that, people like them running. Just for the fact the offense he's in now was built for Romo, and him and Romo are just completely different types of quarterbacks. And right now he doesn't have the arm talent anywhere close to some of the top quarterbacks. So I'd be willing to give him another shot, basically a year trial. Are we going to pay this guy or not? If you're asking me right now, gun to my head, is he our franchise quarterback? There's no way I can pay him. I just can't do it. Unless he's wanting to take a huge bargain. You just can't set your franchise back like that. But it goes back to scheme. Linehan, he's using a playbook from the late 80s, early 90s, Norv Turner style. It's just very frustrating to watch, because you see these teams, they're barely ever using a tight end. When they do, it's just one. That's it. Usually 11 personnel. And it's like every other play, we're trotting out 2 or 3 tight ends, and it's just not how this game's played now. It hurts Zeke, because now instead of having all this space to work with, he's running in these tight, close quarters. And it hurts Dak, because then it's like Monday Night Football. Jason Witten, not the greatest analyst, definitely not a Tony Romo, points out, we motioned a wide receiver in like a wing T formation, and he's like, it's going to be a run to the right. Exactly what's happened, run to the right. He's done that 2 or 3 times, and it's like everybody knows it's either a run to the right or it's a bootleg with our tight end going underneath the formation. And if I'm at home calling that out and the announcers are calling that out, the defensive coordinators have been watching that all week. Like, guys, we know what's coming, and that's why it never works. And it's just frustrating as a fan, because it's not going to work. And every week you hear the same thing: we're gonna get better. We're gonna change some things. We're gonna throw the ball around, and it just never happens. And I really think the Atlanta game last year, where Dak got sacked over and over and over again, really just messed with him, because you watch him now. I've started to come around. Like, I have this guy I follow on Twitter, Joey Ikes, and he always says a sack is a quarterback stat, not offensive line, not anything else. It's a quarterback stat. And I'm starting to come around to the idea, because you go watch Dak, and most of his sacks are, there's sometimes a guy gets broke free and stuff like that, but a lot of them are free blitzers, guys he should recognize, or he creates the pressure himself, which, he drops back in the pocket. He's got a clean pocket, but in his head, that clock's going off, and what does he do? He runs into pressure. And until he gets that right, and until they fix their offensive line more suited to him, I just don't see this team being successful. And that's another problem. Is I understand quarterbacks need help. I understand better than anybody. I was a Romo fan. But you've got to have a guy that doesn't have to have everything perfect, because nothing's going to ever be perfect, And with him, it's just like you have to have too many things have to be right for him to be successful. And I just don't think you can pay that guy that money. But like I said, everybody knows our problem. The scheme, Dak's playing poorly, our offensive line's not played up to snuff. Garrett. Tell you right now, I'm getting, pardon my language, fucking sick of that shit. drives me crazy every time. Down by 14, 4th and goal, we throw a what the fuck ball 30 yards out of the back of the end zone. Cut to Garrett. Good job. We're okay, guys. Good job. It's like, I don't expect him to get in Dak's face and punch him or something, but, I mean, don't be clapping and smiling. You're down 14. You're playing shitty. Be upset. And anyway, that's my thoughts on the Cowboys right now. They've got to figure something out. They're 3-5. They're not out of it, but until they just completely change their scheme and the way they attack opponents, the team's not going anywhere. And you can tell with the defense, they played phenomenal all year. But after the first couple drives, after they forced a couple turnovers and our offense did jack squat, you could just kind of see it in the defense even. They started to get a little discouraged and they weren't flying the ball like they normally do. And can you blame them, But I thought something interesting I read yesterday, I believe. Calvin Watkins is reporting 10 unknown players, not named, obviously. And an anonymous agent basically said that he's talked to 10 players, and they said that the Cowboys are the worst coach team they've ever been on. The attention to detail is terrible. And now there's rumors about Garrett being gone. See, I've always been under the belief that even if we struggle and we lose out, the players don't quit for Garrett. They keep playing. So he's going to be there next year unless they quit on him. And I'll tell you what, last week, that's the closest I've seen to some players quitting on him. And, now this comes out, the report, and I'm starting to lean towards I don't think Garrett will be there. And Jones says he's not going to make a change, but I have a feeling you tune in tomorrow night and the Eagles, handle us pretty easily. You might see some people getting fired. Linehan, hopefully Garrett. I mean, it's time for it to happen, But I had now to the questions real quick. I had 4 questions. One of them was, do I expect, if Garrett's going to be fired? I really do. Unless they just reel off a bunch of wins, if they finish 500 or worse, I really feel like he's going to be gone now. It's, I'm kind of like 60-40 he's gone, just because, Jerry Jones loves his puppet. But I really think he'll be gone. And then one of the other questions is, who do I like? I love Chris Richard. I love his passion. But this is an offensive game. You can't really use a defensive coach anymore. If it was up to me and I had my wish list, John DeFilippo, I think is his name, from I think it's Minnesota. I think he's the offensive coordinator there. I'd absolutely love to have him. Who's the other one? Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma. Absolutely love to have him. Those are just 2 names. Josh McDaniels, I kind of, I wouldn't mind it. I'm just not a huge fan of his personality. But those are the 2 top guys I'd be going after. Defensively, though, if we didn't want a defensive coach, I'd be okay with Richard. But that's all I want. It's either Richard or Lincoln Riley / John DeFilippo. Or I can't even think of his name now. But people know he was the Eagles quarterbacks coach last year when they went to the Super Bowl. But one of the other questions is, do I think Dak is worthy of a contract extension? Obviously, I don't. And I told you why. I just don't. Another really good question I had was, do I think they'll extend Tank Lawrence and re-sign David Irving? That's a good question. Irving, tons of off-the-field stuff. He's been hurt. I think they might get him to sign a 1-year prove-it deal again. And I hope they do, because the dude, when he's right and he's healthy, he's a top 5 defensive tackle. But I say 60-40, yeah, he's back on a 1-year deal. Lawrence, I think they got to re-sign him. He's such a technician. And, I mean, he's explosive, don't get me wrong, but he uses such good technique that even when he gets up there in age, his skills aren't really going to diminish because he's so good with his hand usage and all that stuff. I think you got to pay him. It's going to cost a lot, but I think you got to pay him. But kind of rambling all over the place. First Cowboys video, but it'll get better. I'll have my laptop actually working next time to where I can actually focus on what I'm talking about. But hopefully that didn't take up too much of your time. Like I said, go to scoopsports.com. Read our stuff. More views the better. Like I said, podcast will be out Monday. And, it'll be out Monday. And, stay tuned. I'll have my NFL power rankings out on Tuesday. And like every Friday, NBA power rankings. So just, yeah. Thanks, guys. Phony out.